Hey everyone, welcome back. The other day I was reading an article about AI being used to analyze literature.
Oh, wow.
It got me thinking about the patterns in our own lives.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
what if AI could help us understand
Mm-hmm.
the subconscious things that drive us to make our decisions? Wild
Oh,
thought,
pretty
right?
good question.
Now, that's what we're diving into today.
Okay, cool.
It's a deep dive into AI psychology
Love that.
with a focus on how AI can reprogram our minds
Okay.
for success.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be looking at the AI Psychology podcast
Yeah.
as our
Yeah.
main source for this deep dive.
Sounds good.
So I'm excited to get into this.
Yeah, me too.
AI is such a hot topic right now,
It's everywhere.
and for good reason.
Yeah,
It's changing the world as we know it.
definitely.
And one of the most fascinating applications is in the field of psychology.
Totally. I'm really interested to see where it goes.
One of the things that really caught my eye from the podcast
Mhm.
was the statistic that we make something like 35,000 decisions every day.
35,000.
I know. It's mind-blowing, right?
It is. Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah.
And the podcast goes on to say that most of these decisions are driven by subconscious patterns,
Yeah, that makes sense.
things we've learned and internalized over time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where AI comes in.
Okay, how so?
It gives us a way to bring those patterns to light,
Oh, interesting.
to understand why we do the things we do.
Mm-hmm.
And that understanding can be incredibly powerful
I can see that.
because once we understand our patterns,
Yeah.
we can start to change them
Oh, okay.
if we want to.
Right.
So let's get into some of the specific ways AI can help us reprogram our minds for success.
I'll do it.
The podcast talks about 5 key areas.
Okay.
The first one is mindset reprogramming,
All right.
which sounds kind of like sci-fi,
Yeah, a little bit.
but it's actually based on some pretty well-established psychological principles. Well, think about therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy,
QBT.
right? CBT.
Mm-hmm.
It helps us identify
Yeah.
and challenge negative thoughts.
Right.
And AI can basically supercharge that process.
Oh, okay.
There are AI-powered journaling apps now.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, and they use natural language processing
Okay.
to analyze your entries.
Interesting.
So they can spot recurring negative thought patterns,
That's cool.
and they can suggest CBT techniques
Mm-hmm.
like cognitive reframing
Oh,
to
right.
help you shift your perspective.
I like that.
So it's like having a personalized CBT coach in your pocket.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
The second area the podcast talks about is neuroscience-based productivity hacks.
Neuroscience-based. Okay.
So this is all about using our understanding of how the brain works
Mm.
to optimize our focus and efficiency.
Okay.
And AI can personalize these hacks.
Oh, interesting.
For example, there are apps that use machine learning
Right.
to analyze your work patterns. And then they'll suggest optimal break times.
That's helpful.
Or they might even block distracting websites
Oh, that's good.
when you need deep focus.
I could use that.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes I get so distracted.
Right. It's so easy to get sidetracked these days.
Totally.
But these AI tools can really help us stay on track.
It's like having a personal assistant for your brain.
Exactly.
I love it.
The third area the podcast covers is emotional intelligence and AI.
Okay, emotional intelligence, that's a big one.
It is.
So, how does AI play into that?
Well, we often talk about making rational decisions,
Yeah,
but emotions play a huge role in our decision-making,
of course.
whether we realize it or not.
Right.
And AI can help us become more aware of our emotions
Mm.
and how they influence our choices.
Interesting.
Like imagine an AI tool
Yeah.
that analyzes your voice patterns
Mm-hmm.
during a stressful conversation
Right.
and then gives you feedback on your emotional state.
Oh, wow.
You could learn to recognize your triggers,
That would be helpful.
yeah, and develop healthier responses.
I like that.
It's like having an emotional mirror.
Interesting analogy.
It helps you see yourself more clearly.
I can see how that would be really valuable.
The fourth area is decision-making and AI.
Decision making, okay?
So can AI actually help us become better problem solvers?
That's the question, right?
Right, and the answer is
Well,
it's complicated,
okay.
but it's also incredibly exciting.
All right, tell me more.
So AI can analyze massive amounts of data,
Mm-hmm.
far more than we could ever process on our own.
Right.
And it can identify patterns
Yeah.
and potential solutions that we might miss.
Okay.
So let's say you're facing a complex decision at work.
Mm-hmm.
An AI-powered decision-making tool could analyze similar situations from the past,
Oh, that's interesting.
identify successful strategies,
Mm-hmm.
and even simulate potential outcomes.
Wow.
based on different choices you could make.
That's pretty powerful.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah,
So instead of just going with your gut,
Mm.
you could use AI to make a more informed decision.
I see.
And that's not all.
What else?
These tools can also help us identify our biases.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, those subconscious preferences that can sometimes lead us astray.
Right.
By becoming aware of our biases,
Mhm.
we can make more objective and effective choices.
Makes sense.
The fifth and final area the podcast talks about is AI in daily life.
AI in daily life, okay?
So, practical ways to integrate AI for self-improvement.
Hmm.
But it all sounds a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it does a little.
Like, where do we even begin with all this?
Right, that's a good question.
What's a simple first step?
Well, one of the easiest and most accessible entry points is AI-powered journaling.
AI-powered journaling.
Yeah, those apps that go beyond just recording your thoughts.
Okay.
They can perform sentiment analysis.
Sentiment analysis.
Yeah, identifying patterns in your emotional state over time.
Oh, interesting.
Some even offer personalized insights and prompts
Mhm.
based on techniques like mindfulness or positive psychology.
So it's not just venting in a digital diary.
Right, exactly.
It's about gaining real insights into your own mind.
Exactly.
That's what's so exciting about this whole field.
It really is.
AI combined with psychology.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about replacing human connection or intuition.
Right.
It's about augmenting our own abilities
Yeah.
and giving us the tools to understand ourselves better.
I love that.
We're on the verge of a whole new era of self-discovery,
That's a great way to put it.
and AI is the key.
Yeah, exciting times.
As we wrap up,
Hmm.
I want to leave you with a question.
Okay, shoot.
What's one area of your life where you feel like you're stuck in a pattern?
Hmm.
Maybe it's a habit you can't break,
Hmm.
or a decision you keep making that you know isn't serving you,
Right.
or just a general feeling of being on autopilot.
Yeah, I think we all have those.
Think about that pattern
Okay.
and consider how AI might help you break free.
That's a great question to think about.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Of course, my pleasure.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.